Hi, I'm Robert Simmons. I'm here again today to say more about Azeztulite in 2026 and the special purpose and the special quality of this time that we have this year for working with Azeztulite for the benefit of our own spiritual evolution and of the well-being of the earth and all people. Azeztulite is a very powerful stone. It's probably the most important single stone that I work with in all of the mineral kingdom. And I say that because it has a special purpose. And the purpose of Azeztulite, the reason that it's here, is for vibrational ascension of the earth and of humanity. And this is the purpose for which the beings of Azeztulite, the Azez, came here, and why they activated these stones to carry the energy of the nameless light of the great central sun. That energy is a divine energy, and it's an energy that when we embody it, when we take it into our cells, it transforms us and actually awakens the human light body. The light body has been spoken of by many people, but very few people actually experience it in their lifetimes. That's going to change. And Azeztulite is the talisman, is the key tool for making that change. At least that's true in my own experience. So as I said, Azeztulite is here for the vibrational ascension of the earth and humanity. Now, what is vibrational ascension? There are several things about it I want to share. One thing is that it is the discovery that the heart is the seat of the soul. It's the seat of the true self, our true nature. It's not the brain. The brain is a very good servant for the heart, but the heart is where we have our wisdom. It's where we have our knowingness. It's where we truly can tap into our connection with what's divine, so that we can be guided and helped in making our choices and making the choices that will help the world to unfold. So, the heart is the seat of the self, of our true nature. Meditation with the Azeztulite held over the heart can help trigger this discovery, and it is a discovery. We walk around with our minds thinking that we know who we are, that we know what we are. We have a set of circumstances in our lives, and those circumstances keep telling us, your name is Robert Simmons. You're a separate person from everyone else. You have your home and your body and your possessions and your routines. And those things are what you are. But when we discover the true self in the heart, we discover that what we are is far, far greater than our everyday identity. And I'll try to say some words to you about what that is. The qualities of the true nature, our true self, among others, are that we feel happy, we feel free, we're kind, generous, and most of all, we feel connected with everyone and everything around us. So that doesn't sound completely different, but when you actually feel and know that everything you look at is another expression of you, because your own seeing is part of what makes everything what it is. Your own perception is part of what creates reality every single moment. And it's one thing to know that in the mind as an idea. It's another thing to feel it in your heart and to know it without any doubt. So, Azeztulite is a stone that carries the nameless light of the great central sun. The seat of the nameless light and of the divine in the human being is at the heart. When we meditate with the Azeztulite, what I teach is that it's important to, especially at the beginning, to hold the stone over your heart. And as you're holding the stone, you breathe. And as you breathe, as you inhale, you picture the stone, you see the image of the stone in your heart. As you inhale, you invite the stone being of Azeztulite. You invite the divine light into your heart, and you picture the stone broadcasting light seated in your own heart space. As you exhale, you offer yourself in friendship, in alliance with the Azeztulite being, the stone, the Azez themselves, and ultimately also to the earth. It's all an offer of loving friendship coming out of your heart to these places. So you inhale and you invite it in, you exhale and you offer yourself. And you do this with sincerity. You really invite it in and expect that it will come in, and you really genuinely offer your friendship and your kind heart to the being of the stone in gratitude and in a wish for good things to come. So I'll do this for a moment. Just if you want to close your eyes for a moment and do this with me, maybe you'll feel it. I hope you felt that. I certainly did. And what that does when I hold it and I invite and I offer is that there's immediately, there's a deep peace that comes into my heart. And there's comfort. There's like love coming into me from the energy of the stone. And after I feel the love and the peace, then I begin to see light flowing into my heart and out of my heart and through my body. And that's one of the things that Azeztulite can do. It can stimulate your body filling with light. And one thing I want to share with you is that light is a natural quality of our cellular structure, even now, before we work with any stone. Our DNA emits little photons of light, and it's been shown that this is real because they've been able to measure the light that comes out of our DNA. And the interesting thing is that when someone's had spiritual training, either martial arts or meditation or healing or working with stones, the amount of light that's measurable coming out of the DNA is more. And they found that a healer sends 100 times as much light out of their hands as a regular person. And this is physical light. The light of Azeztulite I would call spiritual light, but it can kindle the physical light that our DNA produces and increase it. At least that's what I believe. So part of the activation of the light body that Azeztulite in all of its varieties facilitates, whether it's the original white azeztulite, or the Satyaloka clear azeztulite from India, or the Sarlite azeztulite from New Zealand, or any of the other kinds, they all bring the light into the body, and they teach the body how to produce its own light. That's what light body activation is. So, when we awaken to the fullness of the self that is centered in the heart, the world around us begins to feel that it is inside of ourself, or that we and the world are both together inside the space of our awareness. And that's another part of the process that I call vibrational ascension. And now there's another piece, another stage in this, and that is when we awaken in the heart, as I've been talking about. The self in the heart begins to slowly ascend upwards through the chakras, through higher and higher. And this is the ascending aspect of vibrational ascension. So we're not going to leave the earth and go to another planet when we ascend, or go to heaven and leave the earth behind. No, we're here to raise ourselves to our fullest potential, and also through resonance, through connection, through empathy, through loving relationship with the earth, our process of ascension will trigger and kindle the earth's process of ascension. And we will ascend together in a kind of joy that's beyond anything anyone has ever experienced. So this is the potential that we look at right now. And I want to tell you a little story about that comes from Chinese alchemy. The ancient Chinese alchemists, they were Taoists. They believed that they could create their own vibrational ascension process by meditation and visualizing in the heart an infant, a baby. They called it the golden embryo. And when you visualize this growing embryo in your heart and you practice, it grows, it becomes mature, just like a real embryo. It goes through stages of growth and maturation. And when it becomes ready for what they called alchemical birth, then the infant in the heart, which is the same being I call the true self, begins to move upward through the chakras. And as that happens, you feel the light move up from the heart into the throat, move up from the throat into the mouth of God chakra in the back of the head, move up from there to the third eye, move from there to the crown, and beyond that you move up to the soul star, which is hovering above the head. What the Chinese alchemists experienced was the feeling of heartful selfhood, not leaving the heart and going up higher, but growing from the heart like a tree grows from the ground. And in fact, the roots of the heart self extend down through all the chakras, down through the feet, and down into the earth. The branches and leaves of the true self, of the heart self, of the embryo that makes the process of vibrational ascension happen, go up, up, and out. Just like the branches of a tree, or like the waters of a fountain. And at the top is a new awareness, a new sense of self that we experience above the body. And it's connected completely to this column of light and energy that is rooted in the heart, and where we began this journey of vibrational ascension. So why do I tell you this? It's because azeztulite is the stone of vibrational ascension. And if we work with it in meditation in our heart, we can visualize that that embryo, that infant self growing. And when we feel it's time for birth, this experience of the moving up and out and the new self-awareness above the head that can see everything from what the alchemists called a new dimension of time. And what that means is that when we do our vibrational ascension, we see not only the time that goes in days and hours, we also see eternity at the same time. And we live both in eternity and in everyday time simultaneously together. So, that's a little bit about how I see vibrational ascension and why I think it's important. When we have that experience of vibrational ascension, it does bring forward new powers and abilities that we may not have had before, such as clairvoyance, healing, and the ability to awaken other people just by being with them. And I've experienced that. I've been with a spiritual teacher who brought me to a higher awakening just by being around me for one day. So he's awakened to the higher self. He's awakened to his light body. And when I'm around him, when I was around him, it was contagious. And it happened also inside me. Now, 2026 is a very important year. As you see around you, if you look at the news, the world is going through incredible turmoil and difficulty and even war and lots of danger, and the feeling of disintegration, of things falling apart. All of that is real, but that is not the whole story. One of the things I like to say is this disintegration is an important part of the reintegration or the metamorphosis of the human spirit, of the human being, of you and me, into our full potential. So, I give the example of the butterfly. I think I may have mentioned this before in my other video, that when the butterfly goes into the cocoon, when the caterpillar goes into the cocoon, it becomes just a jelly with no form. Everything about what it was comes apart, and it doesn't seem to have any organization inside itself. But when, after the process of dormancy and chaos inside the cocoon has taken place, a new organization to a higher way of being has been created for that caterpillar. It has literally wings. It can literally, physically ascend and live a life in the air that the caterpillar never could. So this is a good image for us to think about in terms of our own ascension. And it's a natural process, I should say that. It's what was intended for human beings by the designers, the divine beings who designed humanity. And it's meant for us to fulfill that potential, to transform from the caterpillar body to the butterfly body, which is vibrational ascension. And the human species was not doing very well in terms of that metamorphosis happening easily. And but it was still possible. We still had the potential to make this transformation. And that's why the Azez came to Earth, stationed themselves at power spots all over the planet, and activated Azeztulite to carry the energy of the nameless light that they serve. So just to repeat for you what I've said elsewhere, the Azez are the beings that activated these stones, and they are a group soul angelic being that, in serving the divine, fulfills the purpose of helping planets and species all over the universe make the jump, the ascension jump to a higher way of being, to the way that they were designed to be, the purpose we were designed to fulfill. So, the great alchemy of our time, it calls for us to fulfill not only our own vibrational ascension, not only the achievement of new abilities, but also the vibrational ascension of the earth to become a planet of light. Because we're the children of the earth, and our mother needs to fulfill her destiny just as much as we do. Now, how does that connect to azeztulite? Azeztulite is a piece of the earth. It's a stone. It's a quartz material that's been activated with the divine light. And when all of the quartz in the earth's crust transforms into azeztulite, when all of the quartz in the earth's crust carries the divine light, that is the vibrational ascension of the earth. That triggers that process, because the earth's light body will be kindled all over the planet in the crust. This was the original goal of the Azez, the keepers and activators of azeztulite. The earth's crust is 25% quartz, and when all of that becomes azeztulite, the vibration we feel from these special stones will be the vibration of the whole planet, but it will be far, far more powerful. How does the earth's crust transform? That is our job, our alchemy. When we meditate with azeztulite, we need to use our intention to spread the azeztulite energy through us, down into the earth, and all around our planet. We do this through a simple meditation, and I'll take you through it. As I said before, you begin by placing the azeztulite over your heart. You visualize the stone in your heart. Then you visualize the light of azeztulite, the nameless light of the great central sun, spreading through your body, everywhere, into every cell. Then, when you feel the light in your body, then you picture the earth in your heart, the planet Earth. You work with your imagination until you can see it vividly. You can see the blue water and the green and brown continents, and you can see that the earth rotates, and you can see the ice caps, and you can see into the earth, and you can feel the longing of the soul of the earth to fulfill her purpose. Visualize the earth very, very vividly here in your heart, because actually the presence of the earth is in your heart. That's the spark of light that animates our true nature. So, we want to give back to the earth. We want to circulate the blessing we receive from the earth and from the azeztulite. We want to circulate it back to the earth. So we hold the stone, we envision the light, we feel the light, we feel our own love, and then we picture the earth right here while still holding the azeztulite near it. And as we see the earth within us, we begin to watch it transform into a planet of light. We begin to see the physical globe of the earth become luminous. We see it glow. We see into the earth's crust. We see the light of the stones inside the earth's crust. And we begin to feel that light pouring out of the earth in our heart, filling us even more. And when we feel the profound energy of the earth's light filling us, then at that moment, through love, we offer it all back. We still hold the earth in our heart. We offer it all back, and we bring even a higher glow and a greater luminousness to the planet. And we practice this meditation. We practice it as daily if you can. I'll tell you for sure, if you practice this, it will be good for you. You will feel better. You'll feel happier, freer, kinder, more generous, and more connected with everything and everyone. And most of all, you'll feel at home in your own being, in your own heart, in your own self. So this is the gift, the incredible gift that a Zestulite carries. And the reason that 2026 is an important year is because the chaos and difficulty and danger in the world is the breaking down of the old body, of the old system, of the old way of being. And what we need to do now is we need to be the seeds of the new body, the new light, the ascended self, and the ascended earth. Everything that grows, grows from a seed. And in this process, we can choose to be the seeds of the new world. And it's time. 2026 is the year for the seeds to begin sprouting. Some of us have already started sprouting, but we need many, many more this year, right now, because this is the point of everything changing. 2026 is the turning point in the future of the planet Earth and the future of humanity. At least that's what I feel. So if this touches your heart, do the meditations. Find an Azeztulite, get an Azeztulite. If you have more than one, that's great. Wear it, because wearing it means that you're constantly connecting to that energy of the nameless light. And it happens then unconsciously through the awareness of your cells and in your body, that just wearing a Azeztulite, even when you're not consciously meditating, it strengthens and pushes the process forward. So that's important too, if you can. Now, there's more to the alchemy if we want to do more. And I guess I want to tell you about one other thing that I've done to try to stimulate the ascension of the earth. I built a labyrinth, actually not a labyrinth, a mandala. Years ago I built an Azeztulite labyrinth, but this year in New Zealand, here where I live, in my yard, I felt a strong urge to build a mandala, a big one, probably about 6 or 7 meters across, made out of Azeztulite with a big phenakite in the center, an Azazeo phenakite, and all the Azeztulites that are in there have been Azazeo superactivated as well, because I wanted this to be as powerful as it could possibly be. And the reason for making a mandala was to create an energy point, a center, where the Azeztulite energy could be magnified and resonating. And I wanted to be able to stand next to that mandala and hold the intention that a pillar of light as big as the mandala would form at the place of the mandala and go bring the light of the divine central sun down into the earth, through the stones, right into the earth's crust, right there. And my feeling was that it's like doing acupuncture on the planet Earth, to go into her meridian system and infuse it with light. Because when I meditate with this mandala, I also visualize this huge, intense pillar of light energy from the great central sun coming down through the mandala and down through me and into the earth all the way to her core. And sometimes when I stand there, I can open my eyes and I can see the pillar right in front of me, going up higher than I can even guess, and down deep to the whole core of the earth. Sometimes when the meditation is really good, when I open my eyes, I can see it. So I'm going to invite you, if you wish, to do that meditation also. Take your Azeztulite, go to your heart, and then look at a photograph, an image of this mandala that I've built here, and put your intention into bringing that energy down from the great central sun into the earth through the mandala. And imagine that a pillar of light is also forming through you. You're holding the stone that is the talisman of this light. Now imagine that the divine light is not only coming down in my mandala, but it's coming down through the top of your head, through your center core, through all your chakras, down through your feet and into the earth. And imagine that wherever you are, a pillar of light has formed. Because we need around this earth many, many pillars of light to awaken the earth and to bring forth the radiance of the earth that will bring all of us into a state of continuous enlightenment and joy. And the planet will be in the same state of continuous enlightenment and joy. So it's a very big thing to ask for, to ask you to do this, and even to ask you to trust that this is possible. But let me share with you that I've spent 35 years now working with Azeztulite, and I see more and more every day how gigantic and wonderful the possibility is. You can use Azeztulite for many purposes. You can use it to heal the body in many different places. It's a very generous stone, and each different variety of Azeztulite has different strengths. And it's good to use it for everything, because just connecting with it and doing something with it not only fulfills the intention that you're choosing, but it also contributes to this grand intention of the whole purpose of these stones and of our own destiny. So the other thing I'll share with you about the mandala is people asked me if they could have a physical mandala of their own that echoes the one that I've built here. And I thought of it myself and thought, you know, we could build a miniature mandala about this big with all the same stones, including the Azazeo phenakite that are in my mandala here in New Zealand. They can all be in smaller sizes on this circle, which is made out of selenite. And so we did that. We designed a mandala on a selenite disc that has all the same kinds of Azeztulite and phenakite that we used here in New Zealand. And I taught a workshop with a group in Japan a few months ago where everybody in that group had one of those Azeztulite mandalas on selenite, and we used it over our heart when we did the meditation for the activation of the pillar of light. And I must tell you that it was probably the most powerful meditation I've ever experienced with a group. So I think those mandalas are very important tools for anyone who is drawn to them, who's inspired to want to use them. I think that they bring the person immediately into this whole network of light workers that are dedicating themselves to their own vibrational ascension and the ascension of the earth. So I hope that that was interesting to you. And even without the physical mandala, you can still connect through your intention with the one here in New Zealand. And as I say, wherever you are, through your chakra system, there's a pillar of light that can be made, and I hope you make it. So when the earth ascends, and when we ascend, what will happen? What will our existence be like? I can tell you a few things that I think I've seen. One is that war will end. Another is that all the people of the earth will find the self in their heart. It will spontaneously blossom like a flower in spring. And those people will then drop all their coldness and all their hostility and all their fear, and they'll be open and loving, so that meeting anyone on the street will be like meeting your oldest friend. I think another thing that will happen is that we'll all be enlightened. And what does that mean? That means that we will experience ourselves as much greater than what we are now, what we feel we are now. And we'll feel ourselves connected to everything in the universe, including the divine, God and Goddess, including the divine earth. And so the feeling of being me or being you will be hugely greater than what we know now. That's what enlightenment feels like. And it doesn't make you into a superhero. It makes you into a divine human being. Another thing, when we have vibrational ascension and when we have this consciousness above our head all the way through to our heart, down into the earth, and our DNA is emitting light, we'll know that we're immortal and eternal, and we will be immortal and eternal. I think these things will happen. I've seen them. Mostly I know that even with what I've said to you about what the new world, what the new reality of vibrational ascension and the awakened earth and the awakened humanity will be like, through the gifts that a Zestulite offers, even though I've told you all this, I know in my heart that what is coming is better than that, far better than that, because it's more than I can see. It's better than I can see at this level of my own evolution. It's telling me it's better than you understand, Robert. Much better. So it's worth trying. It's worth doing our part. It's worth, if we're called to work with stones, as I am, it's worth working with the Zestulite. And as I said, work on yourself first. Begin to feel your own self in your heart. Visualize the divine child. Work towards vibrational ascension. Visualize that process. Then visualize the earth in your heart. Visualize the earth's transformation. Visualize the luminous planet Earth. And then resonate with it so that you and it feed each other more and more divine light. That's the recipe as I know it. I hope that you've enjoyed hearing about it. I hope that those of you who are really dedicated and understand what I'm saying will practice some of these things, because the more of us that do it, the better our chance of the success beyond our greatest imaginations. So I do send you all my love, my blessings, my strong, sincere intention for the good of you and the good of the world. Thank you so much.